Okay, so the last thing I want to cover today is A5, which is an ATM machine simulator. And so that assignment is you'll need to create an ATM machine where the user can check the balance of their savings and their checking account, so two accounts, or make a deposit or withdrawal from either. So, two accounts, checking account, savings account. Three different actions that the user can do for each account. Check balance, withdraw, deposit. Okay, a couple of other things. The balance of any account cannot go below zero. So in other words, if you have $100 in your checking account, you can't withdraw $6,000. Just like real life. I want you to use string rjust or the right justify to make sure the numbers line up properly. And I'll give you a short demo of that in just a second so you remember. Make the UI look good. After each transaction, I want you to ask the user if they want to make another transaction. So this is where the loop comes in. Make sure you keep track of the amount in each account while the program runs. In other words, you've got to update a variable for each account, keeping that balance up to date. Once the program quits and you restart the program, it'll start back at the original balance. That's fine. Right now, I haven't shown you how to save information on the computer when a program is quit, right? Now, most usable programs, we want to be able to do that. Like if Microsoft Word, every time you quit Microsoft Word, you lost all your work, that would be kind of stupid. For this purpose, for this program, that's okay. It's not real money, so we don't have to worry too much about it. And then I want you to start each account with some money. So the structure, once again, I like to draw the structure of my programs to help me think it through. So this is a possible structure. It's not the only structure, but it's a possible structure that I would recommend thinking about, okay? So you're going to have a main loop that surrounds most of your code. You'll have the user choose a transaction type. What do you want to do today? Do you want to deposit? Do you want to withdraw? Do you want to check your balance? And then once they choose deposit, withdrawal, check balance, then they'll have to choose the account, checking or savings. If they're doing a deposit or withdrawal, they'll also have to put in how much they want to deposit or withdraw. Then you have to do the math and give them some kind of a readout that says your deposit was successful or whatever. Now on the withdrawal, you're going to have to do one extra step. Deposit, you can always put money in the bank. Am I right? No matter what, if the ATM is functional, you can show up and put money in the bank. But you can't always take money out of the bank. You have to have money in the bank that's higher than the amount you want to take it out. So when you're doing a withdrawal, if the user says, I want to withdraw $100, you have to make sure that the balance is greater than 100 before you do the withdrawal. Otherwise, you have a negative balance. And then after they go through whatever they're going to do, it should ask them, do you want another transaction? If they say no or anything other than yes, then you're going to break out of that. So let's take a quick look at, I'm going to start over here with what's on the website. If you go to Module 5 on the website and you go to the ATM machine assignment, you can scroll down and under resources, there's some sample code to help with structure. And what you'll see is a little bit of Python code, and I'm just going to copy that straight from here into Python. And I will say it's 100% okay for you to use this code. You don't have to, but you can use this code to start off your program. what I've done for you here is I've put up some basic structure of the program. You're going to have to do some filling in and some work to make it do anything. But this code actually runs right now. It doesn't do a whole lot, but it does run. I'll run it in just a second after I walk through this. So the first thing we've got here, we've got a couple of variables. They're float variables because we need to have a decimal. We have a savings account balance and a checking account balance. Every time you do a deposit or a withdrawal, you're going to update these amounts in those variables. Okay? You got a UI message. Please customize that. And then we have the main loop for the program. And once we get into the main loop, it's going to say choose an option, one for deposit, and two for a withdrawal. And I'll add a third, 3, check, balance. Now, I don't really love that those are all on one line, so I'm just going to modify those, as you should be modifying this to make it the way you want it to look. But I'm just going to use triple quotes so that I can put those hard line breaks in there. Next, it's going to say, what do you want to do? So it's asking the user to choose 1, 2, or 3. And then I've got an if, elif, else. So if menu equals 1, it says you want to make a deposit. Under here, I'm going to ask for the account. I'm going to ask for how much. And then I'm going to do the calculation. Okay. Same thing for withdrawal, except don't forget withdrawal. Before you do the calculation, you have to make sure they have enough money in the account first. So that's the difference between deposit and withdrawal. And then checking the balance, let's just check the balance right now, or let's just code that out. Here are your balances. Okay. Print savings. Are just 20. Print checking just 20. Okay, so there we go. Now we'll print out those balances and they'll be lined up perfectly. Let's see. I'm going to change this to $5,000 so I can show that how that works. And I'm also going to put a dollar sign there. Okay, so now let's run this. Run it. Okay, so there is my deposit, withdrawal, check balance. If I want to check the balance, now you'll see here that these numbers line up on the right-hand side. Another thing I can do is kind of interesting with these. So I break these into 2 strings. Print. Just another style of what you can do here. I'm just going to show you real quick. L just 10 plus R just 20. And I'm going to use a filler character inside there. Remember, the second argument will, instead of spaces, it will fill in with that character. So I'm going to try the checking here, checking, and checking. Okay, so now let's run it again. Check my balance. Oh, something's amiss. Oh, That's because that's not an F string. There we go. Let's run it one more time so I can have the satisfaction of seeing how cool it looks. Okay, so now I can do something like this where I have different length words here and I have different length numbers here. Well, I can fill in the midsection with those dots to make it look like I have everything lined up perfectly. So that's just using left justify and right justify with the filler character as a second parameter. Okay, so those are some things you can do. And then, of course, at the end here, after the else, I've got input, would you like another transaction? And if they choose yes, then it will do it again. If it chooses anything other than yes, then it will break. So we're going to rerun that. And notice deposit just says you want to make a deposit and then asks me another transaction. Same thing withdrawal. And of course, oops, didn't mean to do that. Of course, if I use number 3, then it will show the balances. Now you might want to, you probably want to, after you do a deposit or withdrawal, use something similar to this to show them, like, you deposited $100 into your account, here's your new checking account balance or whatever. So those are just kind of, think about if you've been to an ATM or you've used any kind of banking application, think about the kind of messages that you would see as the user there. And that's pretty much it. Now, assignment 5 is a little bit more difficult than what we've done. It's certainly longer than what we've done before, but there's nothing really new here, okay? While it does use a while loop, right, it's already there for you. So all you have to do is fill in the if-else branches inside here and do the logic and the calculations. By the way, all of which you've already done successfully in other assignments. So you should be able to do this. Don't get intimidated. Just work on it one piece at a time and test it. I've already built the structure so that you can test it all you want. So if you want the extra challenge, start from scratch. If you don't want the extra challenge, you just want to focus on this, do this. That's why I provide it. It's to provide what's called scaffolding, which basically says, the first time you do something this difficult, I'm going to help you more. And then the next time I'm going to help you a little bit less. And the next time I'm going to help you a little bit less until you're doing it on your own. Just sort of think of teaching somebody to ride a bike, right? First time they get on that bike, you tell them to pedal like crazy and you run behind them holding the seat. But eventually you can let go of the seat and you're good. So this is me holding the seat for you guys right here. And I think you can do it. So we've got plenty of time. You've got almost an hour to work on this, which is totally intentional. And have at it and ask lots of questions and get the help you need.